Hey there again. Welcome to another episode of Pageant Talks. And I'm so glad and honored that finally I had this chance to interview one of my most memorable Miss Universe queens who wore that very iconic white gown that was everyone's favorite. And here with me now is Miss Universe Kenya 2018, Wabaiya Kariuki. Yay!
Hello.
Yeah, are you ready, Wabaiya?
Totally. Let's go.
Yeah, let's do this. So, Wabaiya, in general, first question, tell us your experience at Miss Universe in Bangkok, Thailand, from start to finish.
Okay. So I like to term my experience in Bangkok like life changing. It was so amazing. I don't think I was ready for what I was going into. Like I know getting on the plane, I was super nervous because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna meet like 90, I don't know, 4 new girls. And then I didn't know how to feel about it. But when I landed, I met the most amazing group of girls. Like I've never seen such amazing group of girls working together, loving on each other, having so much fun. And then of course Bangkok is so beautiful. So it was just, the whole experience was amazing. Like we had such great laughs. And then touring Thailand, going to Krabi, going to Pattaya, all those places were super nice. And then just, everything, every step of the competition had its own like amazingness. Like being on stage was like, oh my God.
Know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then meeting fans. I've never had a situation where they're fans. Like people are just like, oh my gosh, Miss Kenya. I'm just like, what is this?
Are you aware that there were so many fans rooting for you during that time?
Most of the time I didn't really realize it. Of course, it would always hit me suddenly when now, okay, maybe you hear a lot of screams or when you're somewhere and everyone is shouting Miss Kenya or whatever. But most of the time I would be surprised after. I'm like, oh, really? That happened? Oh my gosh. Because most of that experience was also such a blur because everything was so new and overwhelming. Yeah. So I didn't realize until like, of course, when I used to see the predictions used to send over, I used to be like, oh wow, okay, look at that.
I had a funny thing to share it with you. The day before you arrived Bangkok, I was with Catriona Gray. And I shared to her that, hey Catriona, I'm the designer of Wabaiya. And if you could please be friends with her, it would be so great. The next day you had breakfast, remember? The first breakfast.
Yeah. Oh, it was, oh my gosh, I didn't know.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if she remembered that we had a Filipino connection, but yeah, that was really sweet of her. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
So second question, okay, so what was the most memorable part in the competition? Pre-pageant or post-pageant or during the pageant?
I'd say there's so many, but most memorable. I think about it every day. Is prelims. Like, wow, that was the most amazing I've ever felt in my life.
Right.
Like coming from feeling extremely nervous backstage and thinking, what if I trip? Oh my God, what should I do? And then the nerves about the gown. I wore the gown the first time on that stage.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So all those nerves were just like back there. And then I come out and it's like something completely different, an out-of-body experience. I'm walking on this super long runway. I can't even see the crowd. It's just me.
Yeah.
Amazing. So the being on stage, both swimsuit and evening gown, the experiences were different. They were very, very different. One was more fun, one was supposed to be more elegant, and both times it was just, oh my gosh. Yeah. So that was the most memorable during the pageant.
Right.
After I don't think I'd ever experienced this much, like meeting with fans. Right. So I remember just after the crowning and everything, now everyone is getting out of the arena, trying to find their parents, trying to get on the bus. I remember my father was there. He was in the crowd. So when we finished, he told me, meet me, I don't know where, somewhere. I'm telling you, it took me like an hour to get to him because of all these people who are like, oh, Miss Kenya, I don't know what. And then it was interesting. I met, I think, 2 of the judges when I was leaving, and they were like, you did such a good job. And I was just like, I know I didn't make it to top 20, but that just feels so nice to hear coming from you. Yeah. So when the 2 judges applauded, I was like, wow, that's really, really, really amazing.
Yeah.
But,
and who was your best friend, by the way? You had so many friends, but who were you really close with?
I did have many. And at different seasons of the experience. So I know I vibed with Miss Great Britain from the beginning, because she like approached me before the pageant, and she was like, oh, you know, this is what's happening, because I was not in the group. I was actually not in the Miss Universe group until last year. Yeah.
Okay.
I kept saying, can you add me, please? Just add me. So I vibed with her a lot. The one I used to spend most time with was Miss St. Lucia. Miss St. Lucia was my like next door neighbor.
Yeah.
And I think it felt like she and I were struggling in the same way, because this was our first pageant. We don't know what is going on most of the time. We are tired of wearing heels all the time. We're just like, this is not natural.
Yeah,
so I spent a lot of time with her. And then, so I would say her, and then the African girls. In fact, we still really talk almost all the time. And yeah, Miss Ireland, we used to have some great laughs with her. So among others, but those were the top. Yeah. So
because like, you know,
and Miss Cayman Islands. Oh my God, I almost forgot. Miss Cayman Islands was so amazing. We used to book seats for each other at the lunch table, and she did my makeup for prelims. So that was cool.
So next, we are so curious. What happens? Tell us briefly, before I ask you the question. Tell us briefly what happens inside a preliminary closed-door interview. Like, what sort of questions do they ask you? You know, in order to help future contestants. Yeah.
So I don't know if it's the same for everyone. I know mine were. I think that's what made me not get to top 20. Mine were a bit tricky, because you know, you prepare for very intellectual questions, like your advocacy, whatever. So I remember my questions were. They asked me about what I do, what I studied. So I studied actuarial science, and you know, it's a very hard course. Everyone in the world knows that. So they asked me that, and they were like, what did you learn while doing actuarial science that you are applying here? I was like, it's a math course. We just learn statistics. That is all.
Okay.
So I remember that I struggled with, because I had to think fast, and of course there were better answers that came to me when I left the interview. But the response was, it had to do with, you know, how you plan for the future, because that's what you do. You forecast and everything. So I was like, yeah, you have to really prepare. You know, if you do this right now, this is what's going to happen later. So that's why I was telling them how I was trying to prepare for the pageant like that. And then it just took a turn. So they were like, so you would consider yourself a very calculated person? And then I'm like, well, no, not really. But now I knew I was in trouble. I was like, oh my God. No, I'm not very calculated. Actually, I think I'm a bit free. I am a bit, what's the word?
Or spontaneous?
Yeah, I'm not that spontaneous, because I know I need to have a plan. Like if I go somewhere and I was not prepared or trust, I will struggle. But you see, that doesn't come off very well as a miss, because you're going to be called to go for this event you were not prepared for, and you have to go. Yeah. So I tried to explain that, I do like to have fun every now and then. I just need a bit of, restriction, a bit of planning, so that I can, I can't go camping without knowing where I will shower. Like now that I'm just like, nope. So that's the truth about me. So of course, when I was trying to explain, it was just like, just hear me out. I don't have 4 minutes, but I'm just trying to tell you, I am a fun person. Of course, I didn't say that, and I was just trying
Okay.
to tell them. Yeah, and they asked me, "So, what do you do for fun?" And then now blanking. I'm like, "Oh my god, oh my god."
Yeah.
So I told them, "Yeah, I'll do anything. If people are going on a road trip, we'll go on a road trip. I love to break out in song, and whenever I want, wherever I am, it doesn't matter. My life is a musical, so that's what I do." So yeah, that first part was hard. It was just like everything was just going south. Then I go to the other side. So they split the judges. So we had 4 judges on one side, 4 judges on the other side. So this first panel, no one was even smiling.
Okay.
So even when you try to make a joke, they're just like,
Okay.
and I'm like, okay, sorry. So the other side was a bit more relaxed. Paula Sugat was on that side. And they asked me now real questions about myself. So they were like, why is it that your mother was your inspiration? And I explained. And then they're like, oh, okay, can't remember the other question. But they were questions that, you can speak with a lot of authority because it's about your life. So they just asked me why I chose my advocacy. So actually both sides asked me that. So I had to tell them about my own experience in a very short time. And you know how it's a long story where it started, why you're here, what was the trigger. I'm just like, 4 minutes. It was so hard.
I know, because actually, it took me a long time also to figure out what really happens at a preliminary interview. They will just open your bio and check whatever's in your bio, and if you don't say anything more, they will not have any more questions, or they will just be uninterested. Yeah. So how did you feel after the preliminary interviews?
This is no one knows this. It's not out in the internet yet. But I think after the interview, I have never felt less confident. That was my worst experience, actually, because especially after that first part, I just knew here, I may have lost them. The other side, I felt I might have gotten their attention. This other side, they didn't seem impressed at all. So I remember I broke down immediately after the preliminary, the interview. And I know we had a book launch for I Am Winning.
Yeah, with
and
Natalie.
we were supposed. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was so demoralized. I was crying in the room the whole time. And then we were called, we're going for this thing. And I didn't even know we were supposed to dress up. So I just went the way I was with sandals. My eyes were puffy. I was just here because we are supposed to be here. But I was just like, I'm done. I want to go. So that's why you remember I was very emotional even before the preliminaries, because I was like, my interview tanked. So I'm thinking I have to save myself during now the stage performance.
Right.
And the fact that now the gown was not fitting, I was just like, no, this is it for me. Like, I've come to Thailand to embarrass my country. So that's the honest truth. I knew after the interview, it was it for me.
Yeah, so thank you for sharing, Wabaiya, with your experience on the preliminary interview. Can you please tell us, how did it come together with the gown? Because I know that we still had issues even minutes before your final fitting until you got your shoe. How did it come together?
So I don't know at what point, I can't remember what point you sent the shoe, but I know I got it super late. So at this point, I was like, because I had some 6-inch heels that would have worked, but the heel was so thin. It was gonna keep entering the net for the
train.
The train. Yeah, so I just knew this was gonna be a problem. So I carried them either way. But then I knew that I had gotten the delivery because you told me, not because I was called for it. So I had stuff waiting for me, and no one was telling me where it was or where to get it from. So I remember I was very frustrated. So I got the shoes on the day when we were going for the preliminary.
Okay.
So I was like, wow. So first I take a look and I'm like, it is a high shoe. Oh my gosh. And then at that moment, I also had to go around and get my jewelry because I hadn't gone to
to Charlie.
Charlie's room.
Yeah.
And because I just thought, when will I have this opportunity to go do all these things? So on the day, I remember at the lobby, I met Charlie, got the earrings after running from getting the shoes.
Mm-hmm.
So then I go now for breakfast, whatever, and then now we go to the arena.
Mm-hmm.
So near the arena is when I tried on the shoe. I tried on the shoe when Sierra made us do a dry run really quickly. That's when I tried them on, and I was like, okay, so it seems I can walk. Okay, so I feel like I can take 2 steps here and there.
Mm-hmm.
That is better than okay, because no other shoe was gonna be able to work with the length of the gown.
Mm-hmm.
So then now I go to where the gowns were, and I remember speaking to David. I was like, this gown does not fit me. Number one. Secondly, I don't have, like, you remember we also struggled to get lingerie.
Yeah.
I'm dark skinned.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah.
So we were either getting too light or too dark, and I was just like, it's gonna be seen. It's see-through. So luckily they had some underwear that was my color. So I remember David gave me that, and then he measured me and told me, now go rehearse. So I was like, okay. So when will I know? Then you don't worry.
Yeah.
So I've gone, we've rehearsed. And I'm just like, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know. So after that, we got started. So of course we're doing Sherry Hill first, and then, swimsuit next. And then it's the moment of truth.
Yeah.
So, so I tried on the gown and it fit me.
Wow.
I wear the shoe. It elevates me to the point I'm not stepping on the gown. It was another tearful moment because I was like, I didn't think this would ever happen. And so, you're in the moment and you're just like, oh my gosh, holding it in, and you just keep hearing, girls, let's go downstairs. And we're like, okay, that moment is over. It's time. It's show time. So the first time I walked in that gown was on that stage, and it fit, and I didn't step on it. I think I slipped up at the end. I don't know whether people... I slipped at the end, but other than that, I was just like, it's working, guys. It's working. Oh my gosh, it's working. That was what was going through my mind during that one. So I was like, I want to smile. I'm not sure whether I should smile. I don't know what's happening. I'm walking, guys. I am walking. I'm not stepping.
So you were not able to really rehearse with the gown.
Never.
Because I received your text around 5 p.m. here that, hey guys, everything's working, the gown fits, blah, 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 with the shoe. Wabaiya, I was crying for almost an hour.
We were all crying.
Yeah, we were crying.
It was on stage. That's all that was running through my mind, because it was not, I couldn't explain. If someone asks me now how it happened, supernatural. That was the Lord.
Yeah, definitely God. Yeah. So and like I said, up until now, I could not overtake that performance when it comes to the creation. And the people up until today would still say that was the best gown that Kenya have ever worn. and one of the best gowns that ever graced the Miss Universe stage. So can you see like what kind of benchmark we're up against with the gown? So again, for everyone's information, that really happens, and I'm here in the Philippines. She was there in Bangkok, and how much more if the pageant was in the US? And that's for another story when I get to invite Shubi here. So here we are laughing now with our experience. Next question. So you already said this, but how was the experience in general during presentation show? Like you said, it was the most memorable. What made it memorable for you?
It was two sides. So behind, backstage, was tears, a whole lot of drama.
Yeah.
I remember my shoe broke backstage, my swimsuit shoe. Yeah, it broke and before we went for the Sherry Hill introduction, whatever. So it broke. So I'm just like, now what is this? Why is this happening? So when I was frustrated and I'm telling someone, please, I need a new shoe, I turned, my earring flew and fell and broke.
Yeah, then.
Yeah. So I remember I was just like, okay, so I'm doomed. That's what's happening. So I was in a space. So it comes from this whole, oh my god, everything is going wrong, and you can't see like the light at the end of the tunnel.
Right.
And then the atmosphere changes once your face is seen entering the stage. Because now when you're there, you're like, this is it, this is the moment. And I remember I'm not a very confident little girl. So this was the biggest crowd I've ever seen. But I felt like it energized me.
Yeah.
Like it was a deep moment for me because I was so scared. I'm also very conservative. I'm going out in, this little short dress. I'm going out in this, bikini. Yeah. And then even this gown that's completely sheer. Everything was out of my comfort zone. I won't even lie. So me getting to the front, then coming back, shouting my name, all those things, they were not things I would say I have ever been able to do. So it meant a change in my life because it reflected a newfound confidence that I had never had. So when you come out and there's all this crazy noise, you don't know whether it's fans, you don't know whether it's the lights, you don't know what sound it is. It's a sound. Yeah. That already in itself gets you super energized. You walk with the most confidence you've ever had. All these people are watching. They're here to see us, to see me.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that's why it was, it meant something for me in terms of confidence because I never experienced that in my life.
Yeah, I could just imagine being placed into that position right away, knowing that you had that was your first pageant abroad. And was Miss Universe Kenya your first pageant as well? Oh,
yeah.
Wow, now I understand.
See, I'm like, what's going on here?
And did you Wabaiya, I'm curious, did you ever expect to win Miss Universe Kenya?
No. In fact, let me tell you the truth. I was participating in Miss Universe Kenya because I had watched Olivia Kaupo, and I was like, wow, I like her life and everything. Yeah. And then I was like, oh, this Miss Universe thing is interesting. So I started looking into Scarlett a lot late. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I started looking into her life, her journey, and all of that, like a month or 2 months to Miss Universe. So then I go and I was like, I want the sisterhood. And let me tell you, my Miss Universe Kenya experience was so fun.
Okay.
We made such great friends. We had a lot of... I knew if I didn't win, I had achieved what I wanted.
Yeah.
So you can imagine every time they kept calling me top 10 and I'm like, really? Top 5? What? Top 3? So it was all so interesting because it was never one of those things that I thought, wow. I thought about it. I was like, okay, what if I win? This would be interesting. Imagine being to Thailand. I've never traveled by myself.
Yeah.
It was a whole thing. Yeah. But for me, I was going in for the sisterhood. I was going in for, because I was modeling before, I wanted to do something with this. So it's not just beauty. So I wanted to have a cause. And I was like, what a better way to do it than with a platform through pageantry.
Yeah.
So I did it and then it worked and I was like, okay, so now what? And then I have 3 weeks of preparation. 3. Who does that? 3.
Yeah.
This girl doesn't know how to wear makeup herself. She, my style was so minimalist. Everything had to be changed. I'm telling you, my team has never worked with such a difficult Miss Universe. Because she's just, I'm chill. I show up there for a meeting and I'm just in plain jeans and a top, and they're like, you need to change how you dress. I'm like,
Okay.
oh,
No.
yeah. and then I go for this competition. So I'm very short-sighted. And I had never done contacts before. So this was my first time. I'd never done acrylic nails before. There's a lot of things that were fast for me. So a lot of things were just new. So I remember even having to wear the contacts because I couldn't see the person who directs us on stage. So during the introduction, we're told, you wait for, it's called Jeff with the gloves.
Yeah.
You wait for Jeff to point at you and you say your name.
Yeah.
Did not see Jeff. I didn't see Jeff.
Where was this, Miss Universe or Miss Universe Kenya?
It's Universe.
Universe? Okay.
So I didn't see Jeff. So now I know Kazakhstan has already shouted her name. So now it's supposed to be me, but I don't know at what point. So if you look at the video, you'll see I don't make eye contact with the camera because I'm looking for Jeff.
I will review that.
I didn't. I was just like, okay, I guess it's gonna be me. Wabaiya Kariuki, Kenya. And then I'm not looking anywhere.
So the contacts that you were wearing has was it graded or it was just like an artificial fashion contact lenses?
Oh, it was for me to see.
For you to see.
Just, because I couldn't have gone on stage with glasses. So I wore my first contacts at the Miss Universe Kenya competition. So a lot of things there were, the stage was shorter. I didn't really need to see much, just where the stage ends so I don't trip and fall. So this one in Thailand now, I actually needed them to see because you actually had to look for Jeff. You had to, a bunch of all those things. So a lot of the experiences were just new for me. So with the 3 weeks, I think Kenya did a good job.
Yeah, actually, and there was a portion in the evening gown during the coronation night that remember you were lining up, right? And then there was this girl beside you. Why did you switch place? Was she late? The girl in a blue gown. Did you remember that?
Was she late? Who? Namibia.
I think that was Namibia. Like said, hey, you're here, and then you switched places, and the music started. You did your dance. Yeah.
Everyone was. So I remember. I don't even think everyone was on stage on coronation night, because you see, when we're practicing, we practice with everyone, so we don't account for the top 10. Oh. So everyone has a place. Okay. So what used to happen is they used to choose a random top 10.
Okay.
So then now they go backstage and then they come. The rest of us, like I never practiced top 10. Yeah, I practiced to be on the sideline. So I know it was difficult for everyone because now when you've practiced to be on this other side, you are next to this person. And then suddenly this person is not there. So it was a whole confusion. And then, like I told you, backstage was mayhem. It was crazy. So there are some people who were so late for the dance. So I think some people didn't even make it because when I was looking at the formation, there were so many gaps. I'm like, somebody's supposed to be here. She's not in top 10. Where is she? So that's why it kept looking like that. Okay. Then there's some people who, when you practice with them. When they come, they do their own things. Because I think with the nerves, you don't really remember the whole choreography. So like, but sis, you're supposed to be standing, and then you try to explain, they're not even listening. You're like, do you, honey? Okay. Enjoy yourself.
And that was really fun because like the stage where you're at, there were so many Filipino friends who were my friends. And the one in front of you was Michael Cinco. I'm not sure if you're aware, the designer of Miss Canada. She's like, he's like a top model, the one that took the video. And I was so happy because he was literally this close. You're here and he was here and he saw the gown and he tagged me. And I was like, that was so amazing. And every now and then, Wabaiya, every time I look at the coronation night, I always see your gown. Even during the coronation, you were behind Miss Kazakhstan, I think. During the formation, you were at her back at the front, and I was like, "That's my gown."
not sure people remember so much. I don't even remember.
No, because like, you know what? That was my only regret, that I did not do anything to obtain the money to go to Bangkok when I could have. So this time around, my only goal now is to get a US visa, so that whenever or wherever the pageant will be, I have to be there. And look at you guys, because like that was a very iconic moment, and I missed it. And yeah, right. So we could live, we could have a shoot when you come to the Philippines. Let's arrange something, okay? So yeah, so we're halfway there with your Miss Universe experience. So oh yeah, so okay, you've said this, like you felt, did you feel any kind of magical moment when you wore the evening gown? Like, how did you feel wearing it?
Yes, actually, exactly that. Especially considering everything. And then when I saw it, because I hadn't seen it photographed, you see, when you wear it, when it's right here, it's hard to see the shine, the shimmer.
Yeah.
And then the hotel rooms were also kind of dark. So even on the mirror, it looked like, okay, this is just a dress. So when you're wearing it under this light, it's like, oh, okay, I didn't know. I didn't realize. I did. And then I liked the cape. And Lou had told us, like, if you have a cape, like, hold it back for some time and then release it. So I was just like, I'm a princess.
Next question. You're almost there, almost through with part 1. So, what did you feel during the coronation night? Like, did you expect to be in the top 20? What was in your head?
So coronation, I like I told you, I had sort of given up. So I was there to have fun. I was there to do the dances because I love the dances. Of course, there's a little hope that you'll be called and you'll just be surprised and be like, oh God, really? I thought I was that good. But at the end of the day, I think I didn't have as high expectations as many of the other girls. So I remember, I don't know who was on my line. I think I was on the same line as like Philippines. Because it was Africa and Asia Pacific. Yeah. So I remember the camera would just pass, and it would just pass right by me. And I'm like, well, I guess it's okay. So I think I was there to have. I was disappointed because I kind of felt I wouldn't get to top 20. So I was just feeling bad because my dad was in the crowd. Like, my dad had flown all the way to see this. So he was never going to see me because I would just be in the middle of the 90. Yeah. But that was the only thing. The rest of the time, I was just like happy for everyone who got to that point. And then I remember, like, once my name wasn't called, I just went backstage and was just watching, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So for me, it was not. It didn't feel like it was my night. On the coronation, I spent a lot of time backstage with the girls that were crying.
They were crying girls?
Oh, are you surprised? It is a whole pageant that people have worked so hard for. People have done so many pageants in preparation for Miss Universe. This was your moment. Like, if you don't get this is it. Because it's Miss Universe, and there people do other pageants in preparation for it. So, and others, the whole country was rooting for them. So I know people are really crying, and I understood. I guess with that level of preparation, with that level of commitment to the opportunity, it's kind of hard to not get called up there.
Yeah.
So I was just there, like, imagine this, like, we're fine. Imagine it's okay. You've done so well. Like, your country knows it. Everyone knows it. So it's just that they had to choose a winner. Yeah, so I was in a different space, honestly, from many of the girls. I think I was more hopeful during prelims. But on the morning of the final, I just knew, no, it's not me. But it's okay. It's fine. It's all right. Yeah, so I did the dances. I was like, I'm going to kill it. If the camera catches me for like a minute, just walking away, fine. We'll do it. And we'll make sure we look amazing. So, yeah, I was in a completely different space.
So, how was it like competing with someone like Catriona? Because when I saw her, and if I was competing against her, I would be like scared. Like, I'm a man, right? So when I saw her in person, I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah. And it was like, that is Catriona Gray, and she's just really up there to kill it. Because I remember, again, the day before she left and the day before you left for Bangkok, I was with her in an interview. So I was like, I was speechless. So when the first time you saw her, what did you feel towards someone with like a heavy favorite like Catriona Gray? And she had breakfast with you, by the way.
Yeah. Stuff we don't remember. So interesting. I never really hung out with her much.
Mm-hmm.
I think I met her during the up close and personal interviews, and she's done this before. She's very prepared. Her character is the kind that deals with people. So yeah, she's gorgeous. She looks tall and wow. Yeah. But she's also just a person. She's just normal. She's amazing. She looks the way she looks. She has that much grace, but she's a person. So we're chilling, and of course it's the first day, so guys don't know each other. So she's just they're suggesting we play games and do like stuff. Oh, do you guys like this music? Should we listen to some music? She's just trying to make the room like bearable for everyone. So I thought she was so human. She was so wow. So you see, I didn't know her story. Like I told you, my story to Miss Universe was very short.
Okay, sorry, my light just came off. Yeah.
No, it's okay. Yeah, so you know how people knew Catriona's story? I didn't. I really didn't. I think I knew about it a bit later. Like it was so much later that it was like, oh, for real? She placed that highly at Miss World? What? Yeah. I didn't know. I didn't. So I was just like, I think she's gorgeous. I think I know when after a few days before I traveled is when now everyone was like, do you know who Miss Catriona is? Do you know Miss Philippines? She's amazing. I don't know. I'm just like, oh, okay. So when I see her, I'm like, okay, I see the hype. Makes sense. Right. But yeah, so I knew. But you see, everyone also was so beautiful. It was crazy. It was so crazy. So, of course, on social media, guys were really pushing the whole, Catriona is amazing and stuff like that. That's when now it hit me that, wow, actually, this one is a top favorite. And then, of course, seeing her at all the interviews, etc. Because now the reason why I don't remember chilling with her much is because she was doing all the interviews. She was doing so many shoots. She was just busy. The rest of us, we had time. We could chill,
Have fun, have a vacation while competing at Miss Universe.
Yeah, because no one is trying to tell you, oh, you have a shoot here, and then after this, you have another interview, and then, so that's why, like, I felt I didn't really interact. I interacted with her once, just once, when she gave me a hug to remove my contacts because I was so frustrated. And then she's just like, yeah, it's just simple. You just get a Q-tip, blah, 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 take it out. It's easy. And I'm like, really? That's all? But thank you. Also, I've not seen you for like 2 weeks. So hi. So of course there's that pressure. That's when now about Sash Factor countries. Yeah. And I was like, oh, this is a thing. Oh my gosh, okay. And so it explained a whole lot of the reasons why there are some people who had more interviews than others, people who had more shoots than others. So of course the competition was there. And then that day you're talking about breakfast was my first day. So I think when I landed, I was very tired. I landed in Bangkok. So we were getting ready and everything. And then I couldn't find the key to one of my suitcases.
Okay.
So I know, like, Gigi and guys, like, Irene, they had packed my shoes, one shoe in one bag, the other shoe in the other bag. So you had to have keys to both suitcases.
Okay.
So I couldn't find it. Then I thought I set the alarm. I think I set it to Kenyan time.
Okay.
So I didn't wake up. I didn't wake up early. My first day, I didn't wake up early. So then I woke up because I could hear my chaperone knocking my door. So I was like, oh my God, So I'm trying to look for the outfit. I can't find it. There's no time to do any makeup. So as I sat on that table with the likes of Catriona, Miss Cambodia, all of those people, I was the only one without makeup. Even that selfie that was taken, I just looked like a fan. I just looked like I was just there. So I remember my team was not happy with me. How can you look like that? How can you go for breakfast without makeup? And I was like, I'm sorry. I think I messed up the timings. So I didn't even want to be in that selfie. It's just that thing. She said, just, let's all take the selfie. But I had no makeup. So I just knew I was going to be in trouble. I'm just going to look basic. So that was that experience. So that day I wasn't even talking to people. I was just like, I was eating by myself. And they're like, oh, you want to take a selfie? Okay, cool. And that was the day everyone wanted to take a selfie. Miss Vietnam, we never took selfies any other time. And you know how we were always put together.
Yeah.
She wanted to take a selfie that day. So we take a selfie. She looks perfect. I look basic. Take a selfie with Miss Cambodia again. Catriona again. I'm just like, why? And then every other day when I put on makeup, no one wants to take selfies with me. I'm just like, really? So it was
really fine. So actually, I was very happy to. I was really happy to see you with a lot of candidates because that was my struggle with. I was actually worried that, that maybe she might not be able to get noticed or whatever. But I was so happy that people were sending me photos of you and having this breakfast with Catriona, pictures with Miss Vietnam, Miss Cambodia. And did you ever realize that you had a picture with the umbrella, right? With Fadil, or I forgot with who. But the comments were actually really good because you were the only one who wore a leather jacket, and you actually broke stereotypes.
Oh,
yeah,
I didn't know that.
And it was very unique because everyone was in a dress, everyone was so dolled up and glammed up, and here you are, you're just like, free of cares, and you just came and with your leather jacket, and then you took a shot, and that was really, really cool, Wabaiya. You were just really yourself. Yeah.
I was feeling cold, so I wore the jacket up until the point of the shoot. And then the photographer was like, oh, actually, that might really be cool. And I'm like, thank you. Feeling cold. So we took the shots like that. And usually that's how I dress. So it was pretty.
So
normal.
before the last question, aside if Catriona did not compete that year, who else you think was a front runner, or like you think, hey, this girl could actually win?
Okay. I felt that way about two of them. Yeah. One who, of course, made it to top 5, Miss Vietnam. I thought she had it, and I still see it even now. I'm like, wow, this could have really been a queen. Tamarine as well. There were 3, so it was her, Tamarine, and Diane of Great Britain. Those were my I was just like, these girls. Oh my gosh. I also really liked Curacao. I didn't even know about the country much until the competition. But even her, the way she really carried herself, I was like, wow, okay. So my 3, 4 of them, was it? So Vietnam, top 5. Tamarine, first runner-up. Great Britain, at least top 20. Curacao got to top 10. Yeah. Those would have been my
question too. But how about you? So let's just remove the terrible experience that you had with the preliminary interview. So if that did not happen, did you ever think that you could actually make it to top 20 after all the good reviews at the preliminary show?
Yeah. So yes, after the good reviews from prelims, because I think the reviews started coming in, I think after, was it the
day
gala?
After? The day after.
Oh, yeah. No, but the predictions from before prelims were from the time we did the first runway inside the hotel. Yeah. And then there was national costume, etc. So I think as it continued to build, then now the response from prelims, I was like, okay, so maybe they might overlook, maybe. So I thought at the very least, I would get to top 20.
Mhm.
But I also thought it would have been nice to walk. So top 10. I was completely nervous about the questions they would ask, like top 5 and top 3. Just like, but I knew for sure at least I would walk the stage as top 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now we're down to our last question for part 1. So if you made it to top 20, you're going to do opening speech, right? What could have been your opening speech? Like in general. Like what is it about? Or because I'm just really curious, like what did you prepare? Yeah.
So I imagine I didn't have a solid one up until that moment.
Yeah.
So I think I was gonna say something on the fly, like legit. So I remember they had us prepare. What's the most important thing you want the world to know about you?
Yeah.
So in that moment, I had tried to come up with things. They had told us we write them down and then send them. So I still didn't have anything. So I wrote something silly. I just was like, it will be a placeholder. Then I knew at that moment I was going to talk about the testament of confidence and, thick skin, getting to the place that I am despite all those things that I've been through. So it was going to be about confidence in my own skin, in my own body, because that has always come under fire, and just the opportunity to stand up for, because I felt I represented a big chunk that is usually not represented, a big chunk of girls that is not represented. So it felt like a big responsibility on my shoulders. So I knew if I can do it, literally every Black girl who has had skin conditions, every Black girl who has had short hair for whatever reason, everyone could do it. So it was going to be based on that. It was going to be based on that testament of we have come this far. Yeah.
And if you've made it to the top 20 and knowing now that could have been your speech, I think you could make it to top 10. It's just that the group that you were in was just so like Asia, Pacific, Africa, and up until now, that has been the concern of fans. Like Africa always gets left out, and me being a part of Team Africa, I really want to say a lot of things, but fans still could not understand. But now that we have this chance, guys, you have to understand that coming from our side of the world in Africa. I'm in the Philippines, but I'm in Africa. I'm actually African.
You need to come.
I know.
Time.
Yeah, so I'm partly African. So what I'm trying to say is that it's not really just about having the resources and the money, but we really need concrete preparation, and that's what we lack here. And of course, money is really important, and you know how it is, Wabaiya, right? In our side of the world, in Africa, that money is not easy, and pageants like these are not of utmost importance. As an African woman competing at Miss Universe, how does it feel? So that will be for another conversation. So that is the end of part 1, and stay tuned for part 2. And that's part 1 of Pageant Talks with Wabaiya Kariuki. Yay! So she's Miss Universe Kenya, and for part 2 of this conversation, we're gonna talk about her life after Miss Universe Kenya. Make sure to follow Wabaiya Kariuki on her Instagram and my social media accounts, and see you on the next episode of Pageant Talks Part 2 with Wabaiya Kariuki.